The birthday song faded into claps, cheers, and laughs as the knife in Raghav's hand cut through the expensive cake. Raghav looked up, taking in the whole ambience of his plush bungalow in Lutyens, Delhi. They're all here, the politicians, actors, businessmen, everybody who wanted a piece of his generosity. Raghav scanned the whole room. He knew behind all the phony smiles and exaggerated praises lay one simple fact: fear. It's the fear that glued people around him. Raghav always wanted power. From a small-time contract killer to the most powerful man in Delhi's political scene, Raghav has come a long way. The path was not smooth. He did what he had to do to achieve his goals. Never gave a second thought to his actions, never flinched. He was too sure about his goals. And today, standing in a room on his 60th birthday, surrounded by all the powerful people and seeing the fear in their eyes, Raghav understood what he actually was: an apex predator standing on top of the food chain. As the party came to an end and the last guest trickled away, an eerie silence fell on Raghav's Victorian bungalow. Raghav lived alone. He never believed in building family ties. A family would have been a liability for him on the path he took to reach where he is today. Something that would hold him back in the pursuit of his dreams. And Raghav was ruthless enough to sever any ties that could stop his ascent. He had severed a lot of them: relationships, friendships, and even lives. The doorbell broke his chain of thought. Raghav glanced at the watch. It was just past midnight. Who would come at this hour? "Manoj!" he called out to his manservant. But Manoj didn't answer. Raghav frowned. The doorbell rang again. Raghav, now visibly irritated, opened the door himself. A man stood outside the door. A radiant smile hung from his lips. He had a confident and pleasant face. "Happy birthday, sir," the man said, staring straight at his eyes. Raghav was not used to such confidence. People usually did not meet his eyes much. He stared coldly at the man. "What do you want?" he asked. The man smiled. "A birthday gift for you, sir." Raghav looked at the man inquisitively. He didn't have anything on his hands. The man could read his expression, and he stepped aside, revealing a coffin behind him. A stream of anger shot up to Raghav's face. "What the hell is it? Is it a joke?" Raghav's voice thundered as he looked at the man. But the man was gone. Raghav was standing at his doorsteps alone, with the coffin lying in front of him. What the hell? He looked around to search for the man. He needed to teach him a lesson. Nobody messes with Raghav Mehta, not without consequences. But he couldn't see him anywhere, as if the man just dissolved in thin air. Raghav stared at the coffin. It was old, polished teak. Its iron hinges rusted. A small bronze latch glinted. No name, no marking, just a faint whisper. Raghav's hand moved without thought. The lid creaked open. A gush of wind howled from inside. It sucked him in. Everything went black before his eyes. His head tumbled. He felt a churn inside of him. like the one you get when you ride a Ferris wheel. He felt like his feet dangling in a vacuum. And then he landed hard. He felt concrete beneath his palms. The scent of dampness, rot, and burning incense filled his nostrils. He stood up. He could recognize the place where he was standing. It was his neighborhood, but not exactly the same one. This place was different. He could recognize the road where he stood. It's the same road just outside of his bungalow, but gone are those bright streetlights and the trees. This road was barren, dark, and damp. The breeze was cold. A rotten smell filled the air. Raghav looked up. The sky was blood red. Raghav got a jolt. He didn't know this place. How did he come here? He felt nauseous. His mind was still foggy. He shook his head, took a deep breath to clear his mind. The coffin, he remembered. He looked around. To his left stood his house, the same British era bungalow, but it was dilapidated. The iron gate creaked as he pushed it open. He stepped inside the premise. The beautiful garden he had in his house is ruined here. All the plants are dead. He saw no sign of life. He walked towards the bungalow. He opened the closed door and stepped inside. It was dark. A faint red light poured inside from the cracked windows. Occasional flashes of lightning reflected bright lights in regular intervals. The dining room was dingy. A thick layer of dust covered the room. The big chandelier above was broken. It swayed and made a tinkling sound that gave an eerie feeling. Raghav couldn't believe his eyes. Merely 10 minutes ago, he was in his bungalow enjoying his birthday. How could everything change in such a short notice? He pinched himself, hoping it to be a dream. But hard luck. He didn't wake up in his room. He is very much present in this hell of a place. The rotting smell in the air seemed heavier here, and it was growing. Raghav walked towards his bedroom. It was in the same state as the dining room, damp, dirty, and dead. The mirror in the corner of the room was broken. He stood in front of it, and then he noticed her in the reflection. A woman, tall, pale, big, unblinking eyes stood right behind him. A chill ran down Raghav's spine. He had always been brave and had seen a varied kind of people, but this is different. The thing that stood there didn't seem like a human to him. Her face was excessively pale, her neck slightly angled to her right, and her eyes, they had no life in them.
You don't belong here.
A guttural voice came out of her that startled Raghav. Who are you? Raghav asked while trying to rationalize what he was witnessing.
You don't belong here.
Her voice thundered as she took a step forward towards Raghav. What is this place? Raghav asked again. The woman's gaze lingered on him for a moment, and then a devilish, shrilling laugh came out of her. The sound was so horrible that Raghav felt like running away from it. And then he looked behind her. From the dark corners of the room, other figures emerged. Men, women, children. none of whom were alive. They were approaching Raghav.
You don't belong here.
Said another man. What do you mean? Raghav stuttered. The man had a weird smile on his face.
You are not dead yet.
He said in a flat tone of voice.
But don't worry, we can change that.
The man kept coming forward. Raghav now could feel the fear inside him. Stop! He shouted. What do you want? The man didn't stop. Others were also following him.
Do you like this place?
He asked.
You can stay here forever. Just with a minor adjustment.
The man raised his pale skeletal hand.
Just a small snap, and it will be over. Don't worry.
Stop right there! Raghav shouted while stepping back from the ghostly crowd.
It won't take long, trust me.
The man sounded like a doctor consoling an afraid patient. Raghav bolted out of the room. He could hear the footsteps following him. His mind was not working. The only thing he could think of was getting out of this house. He bumped into a chair and slipped twice, but he didn't stop. Neither did he look back until he was out of the house, running for his life through the road. He didn't remember how long he ran, but stopped eventually when he was out of breath. He panted, bending forward and clutching his belly. He still couldn't believe what he just witnessed. A few minutes later, he felt better and slowly looked up. He stood in front of Connaught Place, but the entire place is in ruins. He could see figures walking around him. None of them looked alive. The sky was still blood red with occasional lightning. Raghav cried out in agony, "No!" The sound of laughter startled Raghav. It's the same man who brought the coffin to his doorstep. He now stood in front of Raghav, chuckling. "You?" Raghav lunged at him. He wished to pin him down to the ground. At least that's what he thought would happen. Instead, he just flew past the man like he was a hologram. Raghav's body bounced on the street in full throttle. The man's laughter increased. "Calm down, Mr. Mehta," the man said cheerfully. "What have you done to me? What is this place?" Raghav shouted. "This is the city of the dead." The man points at the street. "Why did you bring me here?" The man smiled. That same serene and confident smile. "I didn't bring you here, Mr. Mehta. It's you who brought yourself here." "What do you mean?" Raghav's anger was transforming into shock. "The coffin is just a medium of transportation. It takes you to your destination based on your karma. And this is what you deserve." "And who are you?" I am the caretaker. I just take the coffin where it needs to go." Raghav sat on the footpath, staring at the shadowy figures on the street. But they weren't people. They walked slowly, pale, hollow-eyed. Some had slit throats. Some dragged missing limbs. Some wept without sound. Raghav shuddered looking at them. The man stood beside him. He had his calm, Zen-like face. Raghav looked at him, sighed, and said, "Fine, you have made your point. I have done a lot of bad stuff. I'm a politician after all. What do you expect? But I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry. I would change my actions from now on. Now please take me back to my world." The man stared at him, then spoke slowly. You don't understand, Mr. Mehta. This is your destiny, and there's no changing it. It's too late for amendments, isn't it? What do you mean? I cannot leave this place? Raghav's voice faltered. The man smiled. I never said that. Then what are you saying? What should I do now? You will understand, Mr. Mehta. Raghav stood up. Please, please help me. Just tell me where is the coffin. I need to go back, please. I'll give you anything you want. I have money. I have power. Please, you just say what you want. The man stared directly at Raghav, nodded slowly, and said, Good night, Mr. Mehta. Hey, don't go, please. Don't leave me here alone. Raghav shouted, but the man vanished. Raghav stood there alone in front of the ruined Connaught Place, under the blood-red sky and among the rotting corpses. He was in the city of the dead. The footsteps startled Raghav. The corpses stared at him, their mouths gaping like hungry sharks, their eyes glinting. They found a new recruit, and they do not wish to wait any longer. Raghav could see them walking towards him. He looked at their outstretched hands and remembered what that man in his bungalow had said. One snap. One snap was the only thing required, and then he could live here forever. Raghav jolted back to reality. His mind raced, his eyes darted all around looking for an escape route. The corpses were approaching fast. Raghav ran to his left through an alley. The marching sound of the skeletal legs of the dead slowly faded. He ran for his life. He didn't stop until he reached an abandoned school building. The gates creaked open. A classroom stood before him, desks rotten, chalkboards bloodied. Sitting at the desk was a man whom he knew long back. He could never forget the face, because this man was his first kill. A local goon named Salim. Back when Raghav was just a small-time gangster in Kanpur. Salim grinned, his head lolling from a barely attached neck. You stabbed me 17 times for territory you didn't even hold for a year. Salim threw a desk at him. Raghav dodged barely. He fled into the hallway. Running, panting, stumbling, Raghav reached a crematorium. Funeral pyres are burning and burned corpses come out of them. They crawled down and sat beside it and stared at the fire. Raghav couldn't take the visuals for long. He kept running and saw a bridge over the river. He crossed the phantom bridge. On the other side stood a child. His name was Mohan, 10 years old, witness to his father's murder by Raghav's men. Raghav had him taken care of too. Mohan held a cricket bat. He screamed. Raghav ran. Each escape led to another ghost. A police officer who was framed and killed in custody, a journalist whose car accidentally exploded, a party worker left to die in a riot Raghav orchestrated. Each one brought blood. Each one brought pain. Finally, broken and bleeding, Raghav stumbled into a courtyard. The coffin was there, waiting. He opened it and screamed. He woke up, back in his room. Manoj stood at the doorway, confused. Sir, are you all right? Raghav stared at his trembling hands. He had returned. He lived. But every night he heard footsteps. Every reflection showed someone else's face. His shadow flickered on its own. And sometimes, just sometimes, he saw a city outside the window that didn't belong to the living because they are waiting. He escaped once, but one day he will die, and on that day, the coffin will not bring him back.